Hello, everybody. Welcome back to How Come. This episode is all about dating, dating online, talking about dating online, the passions, the pitfalls, advice, pickup lines, and we're doing it all with Portland-based comedian, my friend, Megan Otto. Megan is a super talented comic, and you can also catch her on Beast Games, which low-key I've been enjoying. I watched it because she's on it, and now I'm like into it. DM me if you want to discuss. But yeah, as you can tell, I'm still in Portland. Skipped my flight to LA. We actually recorded this the day I was supposed to fly out, but the fires were getting even worse. And since then, my friends were like, don't come. Like, the air quality is bad. Help in the ways that you can from afar. So if you also want to help, you can check some of the charities that we mentioned last week. They're in the show notes of last week's episode. But yeah, I'm going to be in Portland for one more week. Ben and I are on 2 shows. If you guys want to come out and see us, meet us, say hi, just watch the show, enjoy. We are on a roast show at Dante's at 9:00 on Thursday. And then on Friday, we are at Fun House at 10 p.m., which is going to be more of a variety show. We're going to see if we'll be doing comedy. Maybe Ben and I will switch sets, and he'll do a whole set about coming as a woman, and I'll do a set about my boyfriend's slimy vagina. We'll see. Might be on some other shows as well. I'll add them on my Instagram stories if they pop up. But yeah, this episode was a blast. It's fun if you're like looking back on your dating life, but it's also going to be very helpful for people who are currently dating. So excited for you guys. And if you use any of these tips and tricks, please DM us, let us know. But for now, I hope you're doing great and enjoy the episode.
How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz.
Welcome, Megan.
Yay! Thanks for having me, Remy.
Straight from Beast Games to your couch.
Oh my God. Yep. Here we are.
Megan was on the first episode of Beast Games, and for that reason, I watched the only Mr. Beast content I've ever seen.
And it's probably the only content you'll ever need to see.
Yeah, you know what? He's not geared towards us.
No, he's really not. He's geared towards anyone who wants to be a YouTuber and is like under 22.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that. But today, I wanted to start with your internet presence.
Yeah.
Which you're a stand-up comedian, but you blew up really for talking about dating
Yeah.
online. And when I say that, people are like, oh yeah, online dating. I'm like, no. She goes on dates and then talks about said dates online.
Yes.
Which was the first video that you made, and also the first one that blew up, if they're not the same one?
They're not the same one.
Okay.
For me, it was kind of like I was just putting stories on my Instagram for my friends. Like
Okay.
I was just like, I'm going on dates.
Pre-stand-up.
Pre-stand-up.
Yeah.
Like before like reels were really even a thing, before TikTok really even blew
Yeah.
up. I would just like post stories about crazy dates. And my friends enjoyed it. And that was really all it was. And then I got a TikTok, and I was trying to kind of figure out like, what is my vibe on here? Like intended content. Because before that, Instagram was just stories, and here's a post that's a picture of me.
Yeah.
The stories people loved, but they're temporary and they're not really like the presence. And
Yeah.
so I was trying to figure out like what is my vibe on TikTok, and I thought maybe it was going to be like DIY stuff, because I had bought a house
a lot here.
and I do a lot.
Yeah.
And then what really blew up was it was a Halloween weekend, and I was really horny, and I had been single for a long time, and I was like, I just want to get fucked. Like that is where I'm at. And I had matched with this guy who like looked kind of terrible but hot, and I was like, perfect. I won't fall in love because that's my issue.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I think I can hook up with this guy and walk away good.
Unscathed.
Yeah. I went over, and like he was one of those people, like he had told me he does not take women out on first dates. They must come to his house.
Red flags all around.
Yeah, red flags all around. But I was like, perfect. Again, I'm not going to fall in love because that's insane. Hopefully I don't get murdered and we'll call it good. So I had been out with friends and I told my friend and she was like, just text me like when you get there, when you leave, all the stuff.
Maybe share your location.
Yeah, a bunch of that. And then I went and we hooked up and it was fine. Like it wasn't amazing. It wasn't terrible. And he was not as hot in person, but not bad. And he told me I was hotter in person. And I was like, wow, what a playing field we're on right now. And then, after that, the conversations we had at his house were like kind of off-putting. He was like pretty misogynistic. I left pretty quickly. And then the texts after were just like more and more unhinged.
Okay.
And so I started sharing stories, like the story about him and just like oversharing kind of like his vibe, things he was saying that were super problematic. And then I posted his actual profile and I didn't.
No.
Yeah. And I didn't block anything, like his name, his photo.
Oh my God. Okay. Because this was going to be like a question of mine, like a little further down is like, are you ever telling people who this person is? And if so, why?
Yeah. I don't actually I never got a last name and I don't know what he does.
Okay.
And I couldn't even tell you where he lives now if I had to. So to me, it was kind of one of these things that he was saying enough stuff that I was like, women need to be safe and beware. Yeah. Like I got lucky, I think, in this situation. Maybe he's like all talk, no bite, but it just was women are for his use. You know, I don't want to say there was like slave language, but it was like very like,
oh God.
Yeah. And so I was like, no, fuck that. I don't care. And it blew up so much that he was reaching out to me because people were recognizing him on the dating apps. And I don't know if I helped or hurt him because it sounded like women were reaching out to him and being like, LOL, I saw a video about you.
Well, I mean, like we have like this psychosis that's like, I can fix him. Or like misogyny that's like, well, she must just be crazy.
Yeah. 100%.
Or like he didn't call her back. And so like, this was more to like ruin his reputation, not out of like sisterhood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So he changed his name on the dating profiles. I was told, people were commenting that he changed his name from like Josh to Jeremy and then like deleted his profiles, redid his profiles, like a whole bunch of stuff. But
and we're in Portland, by the way, which I think is like a smaller dating pool than
for sure. He was in Vancouver, I think.
Washington.
Yes.
Don't make that mistake.
I drove 6 hours to get laid. Yeah. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
So that one was like the first big series that blew up on TikTok. And then Instagram, I never posted that over there. But the first one that went viral on Instagram was, it was here at my house at 8 a.m.
Gutter guy?
I had the gutter guy come through because I had a clogged gutter.
Yeah.
And I looked like foul. Like I was wearing like dirty sweatpants. I had on fuzzy socks, like retainers in, glasses. It's dicey. And I thought he finished and he was like, come check it out. And I just felt like he was giving me a vibe.
Yeah.
So I asked him out.
You're like, thank you for cleaning my gutters. Now may I see
would you
yours?
Can I assist your gutters? Do they need a quick cleaning?
Yeah. Are there cum gutters under those abs?
He was looking fit, but he just basically was like, yeah. And when you call, just call and ask for me next time, you know, because I already know what's going on here, so I can help you out. And I was just basically like, and if I call and ask for Mike and say like, would Mike be down to get a beer sometime?
Yeah.
He was like, absolutely. And then took my number and I was like, perfect, it's on him. And then within 5 minutes, he texted me.
See, I think the reason why that one blew up is because one, you were so like, I don't think you looked disgusting, but you were so like in your element and very like, I actually like don't need to put a face on for some random gutter guy because it wasn't a date. It was like a very like, oh, he happens to be hot situation. And you actually like asked him out, which is aspirational for a lot of women.
Yeah.
Unfortunately still.
Yeah.
Have you always been very brave so brave to ask men out?
Have I always been brave? No, I am definitely self-conscious. Like
Okay.
I get nervous, but I think like the older I get, the more I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And like the more you really learn that like it doesn't matter, because it was really just like, okay, if you say no, you leave, and I never really see you again. So who gives a shit?
Yeah.
And I think most women don't realize like men are thrilled to be hit on. Like
Totally.
and once you discover that, it's like pretty easy.
And there's like that TikTok soundbite that's like, I said to myself, how hard can it be? Men do it. Right?
Yes, that's
and it's
exactly
like,
it.
They do it all the time. And like, I feel like that's very true too with the not giving a fuck. And it doesn't mean like, oh, you just don't care about this specific person. It's just like your life isn't super centered around finding a partner anymore.
Right.
Which Ben and I were talking about this the other day in regard to stand up. He was like, I think if 14-year-old me saw me right now, he'd be so proud like
Yes.
of like what I'm doing in stand up. And I was like, oh my God, 14-year-old me would be like, you have a boyfriend? And he was like, I can't believe that's something that like you really, really wanted. And I'm like, I can't believe it's not something that you ever thought. Like, it's just so
Yeah.
crazy how differently they're socialized versus us. And I remember the one time I was really good at asking guys out was after breaking up with my first boyfriend. I was so happy to be single and like just very courageous because I didn't care.
Right.
And my like biggest, coolest ask out was I had been to some party in Central Park that my friend took me to. And there was this guy there with his dog, and it was his birthday. And him and I were like chatting, and it was so cute. And then the party got broken up or something by the cops, which is weird. 'Cause,
Okay.
like, why?
Okay.
And everyone like scattered. We didn't exchange numbers or more than first names. And somehow I found him on Twitter.
How do women not run the FBI? Like I
I
do
don't
not know.
know.
That's so wild.
Like, even if I think about it now, I'm like, how did I
yeah.
tweeted publicly on my public profile
Oh.
at his handle, hey, we met at your dog's birthday Saturday before that dude kicked everyone off their tables. I thought your man bun was foxy. Sup. Anyway, he responded to my tweet and we ended up like dating for like 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
I know.
I love that.
I know.
See, I mean, like that's all it takes. I did post about this one time, but I was painting the house and I went to the paint store, and the paint store guy was really hot, but at that point I was still like nervous to ask him out.
Yeah.
And also like I might need to come back for paint, so I don't know if I really want to
Right.
shit where I eat. But I went home and I was like, fuck it. And I called back and I called the store, and this guy, his name was Jose, answered, and Jose was like, hello, how can I help you? And I was unhinged. I was like, I was just in there and I was talking to this really hot guy, and I don't know if he has a girlfriend, but I want to ask him. Went on this long, like winded, like, I'm not crazy, but please help me.
Yeah.
What do I do? And he goes, oh, I got you. Hold on. And then he just went and asked him if the guy, like he asked the guy if he was single, and he was like, yeah. And he basically was like,
There was a girl in here that you were talking to.
told him the thing, and he came back and Jose was like, here's his number. Go ahead and text him. And I was like, did he say I could text him? And he goes, no, just do it. I don't give it. Like,
Sure.
Yeah. Like just fully was like team Megan, and didn't even tell this guy that he was giving him my number. He was just like, oh no, he's single. Yeah, go for it.
Did you meet up?
Yeah, I texted him. He told me he thought I was really pretty. We met up. This was pandemic times, so he did have like a mask on. He looked a little different when the mask came down. Still attractive, but the chin was not as prominent as I needed it to be.
Yeah.
And then he was just the wettest blanket. He was just
Yeah.
dry. He talked about like making sandwiches and how his coworkers do
Yeah.
impressions of him. So then he did an impression for me there of his coworkers doing an impression of him, which was him standing and eating a sandwich.
Okay, so this is the other part I think about your stories that I find so relatable, and also just like they open your eyes a bit, because I don't remember whose quote this is, but it was like, sometimes a crush is just a lack of knowledge about another person.
Oh, that's so true. I
Right?
love that. Yeah.
And like there have been so many people that like I created these like amazing like ideas of who they were, and like these whole stories, and oh my God, their life is so cool and stuff. And at that point, my version of shooting my shot was just like, liking a story. Like, or like ignoring them.
Yep.
You know, and
Yeah.
then you don't get anywhere with that person. Whereas in a bunch of your stories, it's like you ask the person out, you go out, you realize they suck.
Yep.
And that is so much more efficient dating than like pining for someone for who knows how long.
100% time not wasted. And like, to be fair, not this last year, but the year before, I was with someone for almost a whole year who was like absolutely terrible. Just, you know, like didn't like me.
Okay. Wait, this isn't the...
No.
No, okay.
No. Oh, no.
Okay.
No, this guy, we met on Bumble and we'd matched like 5 times. And then finally we matched one more time and I was like, we're either going out or like, we're not doing this again because this is crazy. And I kept matching with him because he was tall and he had abs. And I was like, I can get behind that.
Sure.
Everything else was like in the wilderness. And I was like, I'm not outdoorsy. This is not gonna... and I thought he was like really sweet and nerdy and kind of weird. And so I was like, I guess, you know, like I need a good person. Like this could be good for me. And then he turned out to be just an absolute narcissistic asshole.
Yeah, weird doesn't always necessarily mean nice.
No,
It's
it was
just,
like
weird and also terrible.
weird, terrible, but also he had this pattern when like I wasn't into him, he was really into me, which is like what you typically see in women, which is like we love the chase and we're like conditioned that if they don't like me, then that's again, I can fix him into liking me. But yeah, so it was anytime I wasn't being kind to him or like, you know, into him, he was like after me and made me feel like I was the hottest woman alive. And then vice versa, it would go the other way. And it was mostly, for most of our relationship, it was me being like, no, love me. I promise I'm worth it.
Yeah.
And after him, it's just been so easy to be like, no, I'm worth it. Like I really came
genuinely.
out, like I really came out of that like, oh no, I do like myself. And again, getting back into that pattern of like, I'm not going to sit around and see if someone's worth it. Like we're going to meet, we're going to figure it out. And if it's not it, it's not it. Yeah.
When you were like in high school, so you guys, this is so cool. Megan and Ben went to high school together.
We did.
But I've never asked, what were you like in high school?
Oh man.
As far as dating?
Yeah, no, I was like, it's funny because in high school, I would say I was like very middle of the road. I wasn't like super nerdy, but I wasn't super popular. I would say like senior year, I got a bit more sociable.
Okay.
But up until then, like I was pretty, I would say for like the collective high school experience, I was pretty prude. But for my friend group, I was like the Samantha slut. Like
Really?
yeah.
Okay. I think I'm like the reverse.
Oh,
Like I was like prude for my school,
interesting.
but like when I say to people like, yeah, I lost my virginity really late, like 16.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
People are like, oh, the Charlotte.
Okay, well, I lost mine at 17.
Okay.
Towards the end of senior year. I was like a year young for my grade. But yeah, like I got fingered freshman year.
Same.
Yep. Summer going into junior year, maybe sophomore year. I was like a counselor in training at a summer camp up in Northern Washington.
Okay.
And we had like a long weekend break and I went home with someone who like one of the girls who lived like close by, and she lived in like a super small town, and there was this like really cute guy that was like in her friend group, and I was like, look, if I'm ever gonna suck a dick and be bad at it, or like for the first time that's mortifying, I was like, I'm just gonna suck this guy's dick.
Yep.
He's cute, I have a crush, maybe we'll fall in love, maybe we won't, but I'll get it out of the way, I'll know what's going on, and I'll go home and no one will know if I'm good or bad. Like there will be no...
Megan.
Yeah.
We're so similar. Just get sex milestones over with. They're not supposed to be fun.
They're not supposed to be
no
fun.
one's supposed to know about me doing them until I'm a pro.
Exactly. Let's avoid the shame. Let's not talk about it. And I remember I had the same toothbrush as my friend Beth, and I came back and she found out I had sucked this guy's dick like during the break.
Yeah.
And she accidentally used my toothbrush and was like so disgusted that I had a penis in my mouth that she threw it away. And she didn't admit it till like weeks later when I was like, where the I had been like, where the fuck is my toothbrush? Like it was here. I don't understand. I had to like,
I'm dead.
my 1 hour break during the day, I had to like go to the store and buy a new toothbrush. I was like so agitated. Yeah. And then she finally was like, I'm really sorry. And I'm sorry I slut shamed you. And like, that wasn't fair. I was like, thank you. And then, then it was like pretty chill for a while. And then senior year, I got a boyfriend named Brian.
Cool.
And and then I told him we had to wait to be in love to have sex.
Okay.
And then he told me he loved me. And I was like, thank you. And he
You're
goes,
like, but I have to be in love with you back.
and we had both been talking like every night on the phone. We'd be like, it feels like there's more to say, but like, I don't know. And he was like, you're not going to say it back? And I was like, well, I just want to like make sure. And he was like, whatever, I'm going to say it to you all day, every day. Cause I don't even care. Cause I do. And I was like, that's cute. And then I think like a week later I said it. And then we boned in my twin sleigh bed.
Slay girl.
Yeah, it was a real sleigh. His penis was too big for the condom.
That was my experience too.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Did you happen to get the condom in health class?
I didn't. I don't know where he got the condom from, but I was like, take my car, go to the corner store. It's called John's Market, and just pick something up and come back because we're doing this. This is happening. And he came back with condoms, an individual container of milk, and 1 can of cat food.
This is baby girl, but like worse.
I was like, what is this? Yeah. And he was like, well, I didn't want to just buy condoms because obviously that's mortifying.
Yeah.
And then he was
this
like,
looks like something really weird is going on.
yeah, I was like, you're making us look like freaks. But he was like, I know you have cats. So I was like, they might be hungry. And he was like, and the milk in case I'm thirsty after, which was disgusting.
In case too much white fluid comes out, I'm going to need to replace it immediately.
You know what? That's good boy math right there.
Were you genuinely in love?
Yeah, I was genuinely in love.
Okay.
I really did love him. My parents liked him.
That's nice.
He drove with my mother to McMinnville to watch my finals in speech and debate. Like,
that's adorable.
Yeah. I was like, not a lot of boys are doing that.
That's what you want, honestly. And it's okay if you guys weren't in love with your first person either.
Yeah.
Were you able to come pre having sex with this man? Do you remember your first orgasm?
Okay, so it's like kind of dicey because I think I do think I had an orgasm when I got fingered because I remember being like,
grade.
what was that? Like that was crazy. And then I had an electric toothbrush, so I was spending just hours in the bathroom. Okay. It was, the toothbrush and the tub were just my 2 favorite places to be. So I was having a lot of orgasms as a kid, but like with a partner, not as much.
Interesting. When you say kid, do you mean like 14?
Yeah. Like high school, basically. Yeah. Or like, because 8th grade, I went from Catholic school to public school. So that's when I learned that I had a labia.
Yeah.
And then, in high school is when I really started just
exploring.
The self-exploration was there. And then, with my boyfriend, it was like really small orgasms that I'd have that I truly think I got from like dry humping, because you don't know about clitoral stimulation being an important part of the experience. And then, I think through like a good portion of like female adulthood, like I never prioritized my orgasms in like partnership and sex. I just thought it was kind of like normal.
Has that changed or?
Yeah, I'm a lot more like communicative about like what I want and what I need and like how it works for me. But up until then, no. You're just kind of like, okay, sex is fun and it feels good, but like,
and if I can go home and do this thing by myself,
then I'll just finish it off there.
I mean, I honestly, as bad as this sounds, still feel the same way sometimes. Because I'm like, it's going to be a lot. And we're on different time schedules.
Yep.
And as willing as you are to keep going, it might just be nicer for me in a few hours to roll over and play with a toy.
100%.
Especially like I'm in a place where like it is still really tough for me. I don't know what is going on.
It's really mental for me.
Yeah.
Like I really have to be like in it. I have to like really focus.
Yeah.
Orgasms for me with a partner are not something that just like freebird happen.
Yeah.
The only time I feel like I've had like the easiest orgasm ever was with this 26-year-old. It was like early last year.
Yeah.
2023, I guess.
Yeah.
And we were like spooning in bed and he was like he had reached around and was like fingering me.
I love the reach around.
Yeah. And like that. And it was so quick. And I was like, how the fuck did that just happen? Like, what was that?
When I do a reach around, I prefer it like me in doggy position and them coming from like below.
Oh, yeah.
Which for some reason, I think it's because like you're not like confronted with their face.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. You're like in your own world.
Yeah.
You can create your own scenario.
Yeah.
What's
I don't
happening.
know what they're doing back there.
They're just having fun.
but I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's so funny when you were like, I got fingered in 9th grade. So did I. And I want to tell this story because I don't think I ever have.
Yes.
I got fingered for the first time in a cab.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How New York of you.
So New York. And the following Monday in school, like everybody knew about it for some, like
They
gossip
always
just
do.
traveled really quickly. And I was sitting with the guy that it had been with, sitting with him in the hallway, and this really hot junior walks by and he goes, "Get a cab." It was so mortifying, but it's so clever.
I mean, honestly, yeah, that's really good.
Get a room? No, get a cab.
Get a cab.
Get a cab. Loved it. Did not come at all. Was
No.
also like wearing jeans. I don't know how the mechanics of it worked.
And was this just like a friend? Was it like a guy you were
was like
interested in? Like
Like a forever crush and also
Okay.
friend.
Okay.
I had like several of those.
okay, I like that.
Yeah.
The guy that fingered me, same deal.
Uh-huh.
Same deal. It was first period. He'd like come over and I skipped first period basically. And then we like walked to school and then he was like, "Let's not tell anyone about this." And I was like, "For sure." And then I ended up like telling a girlfriend who told everyone.
Yeah.
And I think somehow it morphed into some sort of like, I didn't want it to happen and it happened sort of deal because he came up to me and was like, "Why are you spreading rumors?"
Uh-huh.
It turned into this like very nasty fight between us.
Oh no.
It was like really crazy.
I hate high school.
High school is the worst. And it ended with him like flipping me off in the hallway, me slamming my locker and telling him to fuck off. And he turned around, he goes, "Go shave your mustache." And I remember thinking, you can see it? Like
Literally.
up until that point, like my mustache was just like between me and myself.
Also,
like,
you hooked up with this mustache.
right. Yes.
Shut up.
Get out of here.
You know what's so fucked up is I remember all of these things crystal clear. This is 20 years ago.
Isn't that
we were
crazy?
14 and 15.
My neighbor across the street, their daughter is in high school.
Yeah.
And it was like last summer or something. She was like, we were chit-chatting out on the street and she just started like telling me about all her boy problems and like
Yeah.
all the stuff that was going on. And I was like instantly back there. And there was
Yeah.
something like really comforting knowing like nothing has changed, but also like it should have changed by now.
Well, that's what I was saying to Ben last night. We were watching Housewives and they were having this explosive argument, like all of these women. And he was like, "Why are you smiling like that?" And I didn't realize I was smiling, but I was like, it just goes to show like, and this isn't a positive thing, but people really don't grow up. Like high school is forever and it's
Yeah.
like kind of like how you deal with stuff. But like it just makes me feel more safe in the fact that like no one is truly an adult. Everyone is cosplaying every day.
100%. It's really weird when you think about it like in terms of your parents too. Like,
Yeah.
I look at them and I'm like, oh God, I remember
like,
you
no,
at this
you're a
age and I thought you were like,
baby.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, you're just you're like a young person in an old sack suit.
Yeah. Okay, so wait, let's get back to the making of the videos.
Yeah.
Are there any stories that you won't tell?
Yeah, I usually keep my content pretty I don't want to say like surface, but I would say like if you're someone who's like truly important to me or like a relationship I really feel like is feasible, then I'm not sharing instantly.
Yeah.
But if you seem like fun and like you're probably not going to be anything serious or like it's really, really early days and I just don't care, then like I'll post about it. But otherwise I don't.
Yeah.
And like there was a gentleman that I had been like hanging out with in the pandemic.
Yeah.
And he had specifically asked me not to post about him. So I was like, okay, no problem. So if someone asks me not
So
to,
you will be respectful.
yeah, I'll still be respectful.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
I
it's
feel
a,
like you
it's
have a like it's not like you're being disrespectful necessarily.
No.
It's like these are like interesting situations that happened or like this is a really weird thing that somebody actually did.
yeah. There was a guy I went out with and we went to this bar called Hey Love. We got a drink. It was like super cute. And there's this nightclub across the street that like never has anyone in it. It's like open every single night. It's huge. I think it's called Aura. I can't remember. But there's like smoke machines going, and they've got like a ton of TVs, and you can see through it, and they're playing like Friends. And we were like, we're sitting there drinking, and we're looking at it, and we're like, no one's in there. It's got to be a drug front. What is this place? Should we go?
Yeah.
And so we went, like our first date was like having drinks and then going to the club. And like we were just there alone. And then this giant work party came in and did karaoke. And like we watched that. And so like I posted about it. We had a fun time. And this girl that follows me was his friend. Told him I posted about him.
Yeah.
And then that was the first time I'd ever encountered someone being like, you posted about our date.
Yeah. Like, was it a problem?
I actually don't know, but we did not go out again because he was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was because of the posting or maybe we just like weren't 100% vibing. Like, I think we had good friend vibes, but I don't know if we had like, I'd fuck you.
It's tough to know.
It really is.
Because
Yeah.
I know that there would be like, you're saying that one guy asked you not to post, which means he still knows that you have talked about other guys and doesn't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And then there are the people that are going to be like, no, like my life is not your content.
Yeah.
And like you being a comic now, I'm sure that sifts out. Like I still think about it that I'm like, well, a psychic told me that Ben dies someday. So I'm like, when I'm single again.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Someday soon?
Midlife.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's coming up.
Have I talked to you guys about that? This is the thing.
I don't know.
Two psychics have said that.
Two?
Yeah.
What does
And
Ben think
I
about
always
that?
go, Ben, would you like to live into old age or like take your chances and continue to be with me? He goes, I'd rather die early and be with you.
Oh my God.
I know.
That's the most romantic thing he's ever said to anyone, probably.
Probably.
Oh my God. Ben
But
in high school dressed up in a banana suit and ran for class president, student body
And
president, and won.
Yeah.
And I find that so delightful.
Yeah.
Does Ben mind that you talk about him? Like,
No,
I mean, you
not
guys-
at all.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I'm like, I even think about it, even though I'm in this like long-term thing.
Yeah.
That I'm like, some of this content is making me undateable.
100%.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a type of person that also on the flip side is like, I got to go on a date with this girl because I want to be part of.
Yeah.
Have you had people like that?
There are definitely people who like, I've had people slide into the DMs. I'd love to take you out. If he
freak you out.
yeah. Or like, I can't believe, the gutter guy never got back to you. I'll cut, like there were a lot of, I'll come do your gutters.
Wait, did gutter guy never get back to you?
So, when that happened, that was right during, we had just had a huge snowstorm. Like that happened right after. And
he's dead.
No, he might be. I don't know. But this one was on me for sure. I was losing my mind. I had branches go through my house. I was stuck out here alone.
I remember this time.
And I was just like alone out here. And the only person I had was my next door neighbor, Patty, who's like 78 and a tough one to be around sometimes. Very needy. And so I was texting him a lot, like, we should go out tonight. We should just go out tonight. And he was like, it's really icy. I can't get out. And I was like, stop being a bitch. Let's just go out. Fuck it. Let's just have some fun.
Yeah.
And I just pushed so hard that I think he was like, oh, and then I had posted the video and it was blowing up and I hadn't changed his name, like, cause I just didn't think it was cause it was just my Instagram with my friends.
Yeah.
And he started kind of acting weird. And I was like, I wonder if he saw the video.
Yeah.
And then I was like, do I need to address it? So then I addressed it, which he didn't respond to. It was just, I was like, I made all the left turns I shouldn't have.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine for people to be like, nah, I don't want to be content. Like I have friends
100%.
that are like, I don't want to be content or like change my name or whatever.
And that was the first time I felt like, I'd really gotten like, what's next? What happens next? What's, cause like people are like, oh, we need updates. Like, and again, those are friends. And I'm like, yeah, you'll get it. But to have strangers on the internet being like, what happened? How was the date? You like almost feel this like mounting pressure to then like deliver.
I think that was the first video I saw it was like a reply to a comment being like, we need an update on gutter guy. And I was like, what's happened? Like, I didn't even know you were on TikTok at that point. And I'm just scrolling and I was like, why are people berating Megan to tell this story? And then I was watching it and I was like, wait, what did happen?
Yeah. So it was just that I went in hard. Yeah. And it was terrifying. I think as a man, it was probably terrifying to have me coming.
Sure.
that fast and furious.
Yeah, as any person, honestly. Like if there was a guy being like, "Wait, how's it going with Remy?"
Yeah.
And then I like came up on my For You page, I'd be like, first of all,
Yep.
what the fuck?
Yeah. Yep.
And like, also, is this monetized? Because give me some.
Also that TikTok hadn't really been paying out like it. I wasn't part of the creator fund yet.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I really missed out on some big money, unfortunately.
Oh, so there was another video of yours that I saw that I was like, what an awesome shooting of the shot. That, do you know what I'm going to say?
I don't know.
Okay, that you found a note from a guy from like years ago that was like, hey, like if your cat ever gets too boring, like call me and like, I don't know, like we'll go out or something like that. And
Yeah.
you found it during like one of your like deep cleans.
Yep.
And then you were like, I'm just going to text this man.
Yeah.
What happened with this man?
Yeah. Great question.
And did
I
you also remember him if he responded?
So he didn't respond. That was the thing. He never responded. And then finally I like Googled it and I like did a deep, like, I can't remember how I found it, but
FBI.
yeah, I found it. I found his name and I realized it was a guy I had dated. Oh. Like I had put the number in my phone and it wasn't coming up. It was this kid. So I did the Disney college program my senior year of college.
What is that?
You work in the park and then you also take business classes through like the Disney college, whatever.
Cool.
They put us in different roles in the park. And then they had housing for us that we had to pay for. So I was in a 1-bedroom with 2 other women sleeping in a bunk bed, getting paid, I think, just over minimum wage. And the business classes, one entire class was just, you know what's really great for networking? Business cards. Today we're going to make business cards on vistaprint.com. And I was like, these are the Disney secrets I've been after.
That's so funny.
So this guy I'd met because he was working at Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa's front desk, as was I. And he had a motorcycle. He had like some little like crotch rocket deal. Was a member of the Rough Riders. And lived in his Mormon grandmother's garage. Winner. So we dated for like a hot minute. It was absolutely terrible. And then later, I remember creeping on him later to see like what he was doing in life. And he's in one of those like college commercials, like ITT Tech. Like
really,
it wasn't ITT Tech, but it was something like that. Yeah, where he's like fully like, because of them, I'm able to now blah blah blah. And I was like, oh my god, I fucked you. I like cried when I left. I was like, should we do long distance? And he was like, no, I think this has been good. So the fact that he didn't respond, I was.
Have you been dumped before that guy? Like, have you been dumped? It's such a callous way to ask the question, but I'm just so curious because I think of you as such like a strong person.
Thank you.
And I think dumping builds resilience.
I do too. I think it's funny. I haven't done a ton of Millie.
Millie is just over here winking at me.
Come here.
Because she only has one eye.
Mill. She's very needy. She's demands
really
pets.
Cute.
Mill. She's stepping on equipment. She's just I primarily, I would say, like in my dating history, get broken up with as opposed to do the breaking up. But
okay,
I broke up with my high school boyfriend because I was going to college. I was going to summer camp. We were, it was just like life paths were very different. He committed manslaughter.
What?
Yeah, he committed manslaughter. I like Googled him
The
recently.
virginity taker?
The virginity. Oh my God.
Took a life as well.
Can I just list this out for you? The first boy I ever kissed, the guy who fingered me, dead. The first penis I ever touched, dead. And the first boy I ever loved committed manslaughter because he was drunk and high on New Year's Eve one year.
You know, there's a new show called Laid.
Oh.
About a woman who every guy she fucks, they die.
Crazy. It's not that.
It's not that.
It's not that.
But
because I have the list. I have a list of every person I've ever slept with because I'm psychotic. And I have it in my
list.
Do you know the movie Up?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
in college, I bought like the DVD pack at Target, and it came with like a Velcro My Adventure journal that had like postcards and stickers in it. And in the back of the journal, I just started keeping a list of everyone I've ever slept with.
And their crimes.
And their crimes.
And whether they're still alive.
Yeah. But no, so I would say I broke up with him. And then, yeah, kind of throughout like my young adulthood, I would say I was primarily getting broken up with. And I wasn't really like in serious relationships. I was kind of like dating, and then it wouldn't really go anywhere when I would want it to. And then I started seeing someone a little more seriously long distance. And I finally was like, I love you. And they were like, I don't know if I'll ever love again. Because they were recently divorced. And I was like, well, that's fun.
We're going to invest less into this.
Yeah. And then the last guy I had started dating, we were just so off and on. He slept with people multiple times throughout our dating. And then we finally like came to the table together basically to be like, this isn't
working.
Yeah, we don't like it. Yeah. And then we fucked for the rest of the year, just like off and on, but we weren't like together.
That happens so much. But I feel like it's very healthy to have like a balance of like having dumped and being dumped.
Yeah.
Like I've had the situationships where it has gone nowhere.
Yeah.
Or I've had people be like, I'm back with my girlfriend, so you know, that's not going anywhere. But I've never been fully like ended a relationship with, and I know that it is horrible and tough to get over, but it's like probably easier to get over those people than anyone else.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but you didn't want to be with me, so I don't want to be with you.
Yeah. It's I think that's a mindset that like definitely comes with time. Like if you still really like someone, or you're still like trying to convince them to like you, it is a hard place. I think now I definitely have the mindset of like, it's not anything to do with like what's wrong with me. It's just what's right for me.
I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. And now I have a boyfriend who like I adore and love, and he thinks I'm like the best thing that's ever happened. And I've never, it's been so long since I've been with someone like that. And like, we're both comics. He doesn't care that I
say,
yeah.
And this is someone now who shares your stories,
who shares my stories. Yep.
For profit.
Which is great though. Cause like, I really don't mind, and he doesn't seem to mind. I did a show last night. And it was like, there was like a interview portion essentially. Where she was asking me about like sex stuff and my boyfriend, and he walked in like as she was asking me things, and I just started talking about how tiny his penis is, and you know, just I was like, we fucked a John Wick 3 last night. Like it just, he doesn't care, you know, and like he thinks I'm funny and he gets it, and I just like, it's so lovely. And
no, you and I like and him were on a show a week ago. It was his birthday show. And he was talking about you, and I got so like Twitter pated because I remember the first time Ben talked about me on stage, and this wasn't the first time for you guys obviously, but I was just like, that's like a huge like landmark in a relationship for a comic, that it's like they're not still doing their old, not only are they not talking about their exes anymore and doing recycled jokes, they wrote new material, and you're part of the material. And Millie is part of the material.
Yeah. The whole family is part of it.
Like it's I just view it as very sweet, where I know a lot of people would be like, deal breaker, like do not talk about me on stage. Like
I think because I've already overshared so much on the internet, like I don't it, you know, to me it's kind of like, well, of course you would. It makes sense. I think the thing I've never really thought about, and I don't know if you and Ben run into this, but like if something happens, or like there is something we're talking about that we're like, oh fuck, that's fun, like this is funny, you know, again, like Millie barks at us during sex, especially like if he slaps my ass, she comes in and is like, stop hurting my mom. And it's like we're talking about it, and then it's like, okay, but whose joke is this gonna be?
We have that all the time.
Okay,
my favorite thing is if we have a really funny conversation, I'm looking forward to how I'm going to write this into a joke and how he's going to write it into a joke. And then there are ones that like, they're just so easy that either of us could do it. And if we're not on the same lineup, we don't have a problem sharing jokes. Like there's one about him thinking Milan was in China.
Totally.
It's a real story.
Of course.
And I tell it one way, he tells it another way. And
well, it was like we were having a conversation the other day, And it was something about like how I love making fun of his penis. I want everyone to think it's tiny and terrible because to me that just tickles me. And we were having this conversation about how his dick is just all tip and it's just all hard tip. And I was like, oh man, like, and we would like started talking about it again. He goes, no, that was my joke. And I was like, wait, was it? Like, I don't even know which one of us. Yeah, I was like, I don't know which one of us said it. I go, but is it really your like?
And is it true?
No. He's
Okay.
got a.
Okay.
He's doing all right.
Ben's got a joke about having a tiny dick too, and I always go, only guys who don't do this.
Yeah.
It's very backwards.
It is. Well, and that's what I was saying to him literally last night. We were talking about it. And I was like, I mean, the only reason I can say your dick is tiny is because it's not.
Unless it was something that like it really worked for you still. Like there are people who love tiny dicks.
I mean, I've been with a micro penis.
How was that?
It was micro. You know, what's weird is like it still had girth. But I remember the first time we like he came over and we were like making out and I was like literally sitting on him on the couch making out. And then like he kind of like shuffled us back to just being like cute and cozy. And I was like, what a gentleman. Like quick make out. I don't even feel the boner. Like, wow, he's really what an adult, you know? This guy can really go the distance. Yeah. And then the first time we like really got into it, he like was really cute about it. He rented like a little room at the Ace Hotel. It was like
sweet.
Yeah. He went down on me for a very long time and I was really drunk. So I don't really remember the rest of it. But then the next time we did fuck, I remember being like, wait.
Yeah.
Like I remember like it went in, but like that was the end. Like it was as it went in, like that was, there's, and I remember him just like pounding it really hard, like just really trying to pound hard to make it do something. You know?
I would love to talk to somebody with a micro penis about like what they like.
Yeah.
You know, like
I never gave him a hand job.
Do they want that?
I never gave him head.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine.
And I don't even know if it was,
too,
and I don't know if it was like for lack of just like the opportunity just never happened. He also like didn't live here. So I was like seeing him like infrequently. But yeah, he's now married with a baby and doing great.
Yeah.
So
I know one of my friends is married to a guy. I don't know what classifies as micro, but I remember people
either.
Like in high school, everybody talked about everything and they would be like, he's got a really small dick or whatever. And she's one of like the happiest people I know.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, again, if you're with like someone kind, and like who loves you, and who makes you come, or like you know can figure it out, like great.
Okay, so I came across recently a video of this woman who was talking about, just because this has been like the majority of our topic,
for sure,
talking about dating online. So she was like, most of these people who are talking about dates online are lying and they're doing it for content. And I don't know who she was referring to. There were a bunch of people like in the comments talking, and nobody said your name or anything, but like, she's like, these are lies. And they're just trying to like get your eyes. Like, how do you feel if they were lies? Like if it's just storytelling? Because this person seemed like very angry.
I have like a couple thoughts on it. There's I've seen videos where it's like people are like trying to subtly record under the table while they're on an insane date, or like the guy's doing something crazy. And a lot of those don't feel real.
Yeah.
Those I don't love so much, but I'm also like, it's content. Like it's all content. Like at the end of the day, you know, a lot
of those videos, even if they're not a date, they're like some video that's like, guy catches girl doing something crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have to know that this is staged.
Right.
But like a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I think that there's like enough people out there who are just like taking everything on the internet at face value, like our president, and just, you know, rolling with it.
Yeah.
To me, if you're like telling a story about a date and it's like not true, like I don't I don't disagree. I don't agree. I don't know. Like if that's the vibe for you, then that's
I brought it up with some friends and I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I was like, people lie in stand up all the time. As long as you're not like using people's names or like saying like a heinous crime was committed, because then people start like looking for like the person who did that and accusing other people, or like, I don't know. There are certain things that I'm like, okay, I guess that's bad to lie about. But for the majority of it, I'm like, who cares? Like at the end of the day, it's like entertainment.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I mean, you read a book and like, you're reading like a love story, whatever, like a romance novel. You know that that's not real, but you're enjoying the journey. This is just like a pocket-sized little clip of that.
But one of my guy friends was like, they should have a disclaimer that says it's not real. And
like,
I was
how does that impact you?
For what though?
Yeah.
Like I was genuinely trying to understand, and he was like, because like the stories aren't real, so like people might make generalizations about people based on these things, and I'm like, maybe, but like I think a lot of us already have made generalizations about like, I don't know. Again, if there's a crime being committed in the story, maybe a disclaimer.
Yeah, I think if it's like so outrageous that it's like, I can't believe it, then I'm kind of like.
Or if it's a mix of the truth and fiction where it's like, you're like, oh, what happened with Gutter Guy? Well, he committed manslaughter.
Yeah, there's like a mix.
Then he'd be like, what the fuck? I just didn't call you back.
Right.
And now
100%.
people are calling my company.
Yeah. That company, by the way, the owner of it tried to set me up with another one of the Gutter Guys.
Really?
Who was like full opposite.
A
like,
man or a woman?
A man.
Setting you up.
Setting me up with another man. And he was like 20 years older than the original guy. Had like just gotten out of prison. Had like dual toned hair. Was like not illiterate,
not
but
your
like
type.
Not my type.
Yeah.
Like was not following the thread whatsoever.
Yeah.
And like he like installed new gutters for me. Like he came to my home and I was like, this is so uncomfortable. I don't know.
And he's like, so lunch?
And he's
I heard
he
this
was
is
like,
what you
he
do.
was well, and it was one of those things where he was calling and texting constantly because the owner had like already given him the heads up, like she's good to go, basically.
She dates.
Which
means you're in.
So he was like trying to call me like multiple times a day.
That's
at all
horrible.
hours of the day, trying to text. I'm not responding quick enough. And he's instantly doing the like, I'm so sorry, I'll stop bothering you. I guess you don't like me kind of thing. And I finally was just like, listen, man, I don't dislike you or like you. I just have a life beyond you right now.
Yeah.
If you want to go out, we can go out. But like, this is not.
You don't want to go out with this man.
Then he came, he did the gutters, and I was like, I'm Gucci. I'm
Okay,
good.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so he was texting you before he even met you.
He goes, the guy,
Ridiculous.
my gutter company guy called me, and then he was like, this is who I'm going to have come do your gutters. And I told him, I told him the deal, basically.
You're down to fuck.
And then that guy messaged me and was like, hey, do you mind if we like chat before I come do your gutters? I just want to like cover off on a few things. And then it was covering off on nothing. He just wanted to like talk on the phone and see who I was and what I was about. And I was like, do you do this with all your clients?
He's like, and what is the material of the gutters? And do you have siblings?
Yeah, right? Like it was just so bizarre. He also had like 3
What's
kids
your love language?
with 3 different women that like were not in the same state. I don't know. It was like something crazy.
He's our president.
He's our president. He would bet he looks like him in 40 years, honestly.
I mean, you're saying dual toned hair. That's just when the spray tan like gets a little sweaty and pushes back. I don't really care if the stories are fake. It's just a different medium.
It is. I enjoy when it's real. Yeah, I think you can
Yeah.
kind of tell. And I think like there's definitely like if I'm looking at someone who's like disheveled in their kitchen, kind of like breaking it down, I'm like, this feels authentic.
Yeah.
If you're looking at someone who's like getting up and doing their face every day to do content, I'm taking it with a grain of salt, you know?
Unless that's just how they do their day.
Unless that's how they do their day, for sure.
I know you guys are out there and we could not be more dissimilar, but I'm sure we're very similar in other ways.
Every day I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to be one of those girls. I get up early, I do my hair, I put on makeup and like an outfit.
Yeah.
And every day.
I always
think.
look back
Next
at
tomorrow.
pictures of myself, like from years ago, being like, what a lovely girl. She should have done her hair. I'm like, maybe I should do my hair. And then I'm like, nah, we're
I
just
look
never
back-
going to have photos where we do our hair.
I used to be like, I don't know, like when
We
I was
can
like,
both dress.
we can both dress.
Yeah, it's
but
just
like
5 days of the year.
no, no.
Yeah.
When I first, I have a full-time job now. And when I first started, I was like doing my hair every day when I go into the office, and I like had outfits on. I was like a very cool girl. Like people were starting to like take note.
Heads were turning.
And now I have blended into the masses.
Did you
at
ever
my
do an office romance?
This job I have currently is the first time I have not hooked up with someone at work.
Nice.
So every job I've had, I have canoodled or romanced. I have also boned in the office before.
Damn.
I got so nervous though; it lasted like 1 minute.
HR hates to see you coming.
I can't help myself.
In many ways.
Yeah, that one I was just so nervous. I like thought the elevator was going, and the guy was just like not enjoying it because I was so paranoid while we were doing it. He was just like, "Let's just go."
Yeah,
And I was
don't
like,
do that.
Yeah, fair. I don't know.
I saw a tweet recently that was like the coolest thing you can be, or like don't fuck anybody in the office because the coolest thing you can be is like the hot girl that nobody can get.
Yeah,
And it's like,
I like that.
it is a cool thing to be, but also it just like, there's so many times I've had jobs and I'm just thinking about like, am I going to see this person today? Or like even at school, and it's like, decenter these people from your life.
Yeah. Okay, so when I was living in New York, there was a guy who worked in the floor below me. So I didn't see him too often. He worked in our like ticketing department. But he was not my typical type. He was like a little bit shorter. He was like very, I don't want to say like, he had like finance bro energy.
Okay.
But like we all went out one night and like we got wasted, and I ended up going home with him, and he had done so many drugs that he could not like keep
Rise
it
to the occasion.
He could not rise to the occasion. Thank you. And we were laying in his bed. It was like 3 a.m. And I was like, cool, man. Like, I think we're good. You know, like, and he was like, do you mind if I just like, if you go to sleep, do you mind if I just like stay up and watch porn and like rub it out? And I was like, I genuinely don't give a fuck. And I just rolled over while this man rolled over and just started jerking himself off. And I just hear like a little porn in the background, like, and I was like, this is so insane right now.
Yeah.
Just one of those like, Megan, what are we doing?
What are
with
we
our
doing?
life? What are we doing here? His like claim to fame was that he said he had fucked Lindsay Lohan. And I was like, that's not the humble brag I think you think it is.
I'd be impressed if he had.
I also don't even know if I believed it.
It's hard to say. Actually, she famously also kept a sex list. So maybe he's on there, or maybe he isn't. Like maybe he just took some other redhead home once and then jacked off to Lilo on Netflix while she's like laid there. Who's to know?
Who is to know?
But like relationships in an office.
Yeah.
I'm not anti them, except for right now I kind of am, because I've been watching Younger, and like all they do is fuck people in their offices or fuck their clients and like then like fight about it. And by the way, I love this show. I'd never watched it. It's amazing. Get on board.
Yeah.
But like one of the relationships I've been waiting for, it's not even enjoyable because like they'll like fuck and then be like, are you trying to steal my book? Like, are you trying to steal my author from me? They work at a publishing house.
Have you ever boned anyone in the office?
No. But I also haven't had enough office jobs. I'm dating another comic. I've dated other comic. You know, like when I was like 14, I was working at the tennis club, and I made out with one of the pros.
Hell yeah, you did.
But it was at like a party.
Okay.
And I think it was like not okay. He was like above 18 and I was
high school
not.
jobs, like that is where you find older men that you're like, oh, this is so cool, but then like in reality you're like, no, that was so weird.
Yeah, we would like smoke with like this like 26-year-old guy, and like at the time I was like, this is awesome, and now I'm like, why was that 26-year-old guy hanging out with 14-year-olds?
Dude, I worked at a Jamba Juice, and our like manager was 22, and he like thought he was like ruling the world, and I was like, you're in charge of a bunch of teenagers, dude.
Yeah.
Like, get over yourself.
Yeah.
People
and
used
then
to
the
like,
office jobs I did have were primarily fashion stuff.
okay, yeah.
So it was mostly like gay men.
I was working in sports, so I had options.
You had
for
options.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not disrespecting anybody who has an office romance at all. I just think
It's rare that it actually works out, I think. Is
yeah,
really
and it can get like just like distracting and messy.
it gets it does get
Like
messy.
if you're talking about not shitting where you eat at the paint store.
Yeah,
Like,
truly.
what about your fucking job where you go every day?
No, actually.
Yeah.
It's I hooked up when I was living in California, I got a new job. It was like the first week that I was there. I got sat in like an empty cubicle corner because there weren't enough desks with my team's pod. So I'm like alone in this corner. And the only guy that's sitting across from me works in like a different department, but he was like super nice. He was like, we should go out to lunch this week. And I was like, great.
Yeah.
We had like a flirt. And then I think literally a week later, he ended up coming home with me. We like, I don't think we fucked, but I think we like hot and heavy petting, whatever. And like from there on out, we like never spoke to each other again. I was like, but like still sat next to each other. And I was like, this is so uncomfortable. Like, why did we do this?
Do you have a favorite type of date? Because we've mentioned lunch a bunch, and I don't know if I've ever. I think I went on one, but it was just like a coffee, and it was when I first started stand up, and this other comic was just like shitting on female comics, being like, "Don't be like this woman, and don't be like this one." And I was like,
Whoa.
I gotta go.
I don't necessarily like love a coffee per se. I don't mind it, but I don't, it's not like my
Yeah.
jam. Mine is, I like really love like a drink after work. I think that's
Okay.
like, it's because it's like just enough time to like figure it out. If we want to keep it going, we can. Lunch is when I'm fucking my coworkers. It's just easy.
I'm busy.
Yeah. But I recently, right before I started dating my boyfriend, my coworker did try and set me up with one of her friends' friends. So it was like still removed.
Yeah.
And she gave him my number and he started texting me. And it was just instantly like, I want to take you out to dinner and a drink. And like, it was like very full on. And I was like, hey, how about we just like start with drinks? Like, I don't know you. I don't know I'm not going to give you 3 hours of my time. Like,
Yeah.
And he like never responded.
When you were talking about the guy in the beginning, your first video, who was like, he doesn't take people to dinner. He just has people come over to their house.
Yeah.
I was thinking he had the rule of he doesn't take people to dinner. He does drinks first. And then if you like the person, you take them to dinner, which is what my uncle's rule was before he met my aunt. And she kind of like knew the rule. And so then when he asked her to dinner, she was like,
I'm in.
I'm in. And she out loud said, oh, so I'm in. And he goes, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I think like that's probably the best. Or just like one of the, like, there's so many bars here in Portland where like there's games too, like pool or shuffleboard.
There's a lot
like
of
something
good bars
where you
that
have
are
like an
just-
activity and it's like kind of dark.
Yeah, there's a lot of good vibey bars. There's a lot of good bars with stuff going on. And there's a lot of bars in like good parts of town that you can even just like people watch really easily, which I like really love to do.
Me too.
Yeah.
One of my favorite dates of all time was this guy who we had met like a year before, flirted all night, exchanged numbers. I texted him like a week later to be like, we should go out.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm so sorry. I actually do have a girlfriend, but like I would love to be friends with you.
Okay.
And I said, I don't need any more guy friends in my life right now. Call me when you're single. And this was in Boston because we were both, he was at Harvard and I was at BU.
Oh my God.
And so he called me, I think like 6 months later or something. We were both back in New York, or I was back in New York. He was like, I'm in New York.
Oh.
Do you want to meet up? I'm with like a bunch of friends. But like I would meet you like anywhere. I'm single now. And we met up at some bar in Midtown and just people watched all night and made fun of people and like just like made up stories. And it was so much fun and it was so cute.
What happened? Why are you guys not married right now?
He moved to LA. I'm still trying to visit him, but the whole place is on fire. No, I'm just kidding. I hope everyone's okay. It fucking sucks.
Yeah, it looks crazy.
Yeah. But no, so I actually wanted to bring him up anyway.
Oh, okay.
Because we ended up just becoming friends.
Okay.
He's a screenwriter.
He got
now.
in there.
He got in. No, we're just friends. And he became a screenwriter. And when my roommate from college moved out there to also work in entertainment, I was like, you guys should meet. And I set them up via email. And they never, yeah. I was like, I'm 20 now.
I have an email. And I will email intro you.
I'm going to CC both of you.
Amazing.
They never met up, but once a year he emails us both and he goes, circling back.
Oh my God.
And
I
it's
love
this
that
like
so much.
hilarious bit that it's been going for, how long have we been out of school? Like
2015.
15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once a year we get an email being like, circling back, Jordan, I would love to take you for lunch or whatever. And then she says something and then it's over for the rest
Are
of
they
the year.
both single right now?
I wasn't setting them up for a date. I was setting
Oh.
them up for like business,
Oh my God.
like just to like talk about
Yeah.
entertainment. But you have a person that you go out with once a year. That when I was watching one of your videos, I was like, oh my God, this is.
Yeah. I don't know how it happened. He's actually like a really cool guy, and I hope he does find someone great. His name's Juwan, and he's a vegan chef here in Portland. And he's also like a fitness model.
But
And
why do you go out once a year?
like, it's just one of these things where like we went out one time, and then like we were gonna go out again. Maybe we went out a couple times. I'm not 100% sure how that first round happened, but like it just like never really happened. Like we had a nice time. I don't know. And then just like a similar pattern of like, we'd go out and like, I think I'd be like, I had fun, but I don't know if I was like really wowed or like clicking in, you know? And he's also like, he's very confident, very self-assured, and like really regimented. Like, you know, he like works out every day. He's like kind of old school. Like, I mean, one of the things I loved was like, we're walking down the sidewalk and he like instantly walks on the edge, you know, and like pushes me in to be like safer. And I was like, oh yeah, but like a little old school and like
I
traditional.
used to hate when my ex would do that because I'd go, I've survived for 23 years without you. And now when Ben doesn't do it, I go, but you want me to die?
Exactly. That's so funny. I'm fine.
I'm never happy.
No. But yeah, and then it's just kind of turned into this thing, and then we went out again, and we had a nice date. But again, I think for me, it was just one of those things where I was like, I just don't know if I'm like feeling that like, oh yeah.
I love dating. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Like if you don't take it as seriously, and like it's easier said than done. But if like you're just like, okay, this is a fun thing that I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try this guy on once a year.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Let's see if we've changed. Let's see who's lost weight. Let's see. Let's see when it fits. Yeah, 100%.
Let's see who's lost hair. Let's see who's gained new passions.
100%. Yeah.
Just to check in. Also, you said, how come that guy and I aren't totally in love besides the distance? So he's a writer.
Okay.
And he used to send me scripts and like books or whatever that he had written.
Oh.
And I would read them.
Oh no.
And I would always go, oh my God, this part is amazing. He'd go, that's my writing partner. I go, oh, okay. And but this joke I really like him too.
Oh no. Oh no. That's so awkward.
I don't think he never was like, ugh. But it was just like, okay, so there's somebody's sense of humor out there that I'm like really obsessed with. And like, I just happen to really like your face.
Can you merge the two? Can I date both of you?
I want to have two boyfriends.
Yep.
And I want my boyfriends to be boyfriends.
Yeah, I think that'd be so nice.
Challengers.
I really like that. I like that for you.
But I like Ben's jokes now.
Yeah. Ben is like, the last few sets I've seen from him have like really been so rad. I've really enjoyed it. His comedies.
I wrote some of those punchlines.
Hey.
And tags.
I write my boyfriend's comedy.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I'm like, that joke's like offensive, so you have to like fix it. Like I know what you're intending to say. Like he has this joke about movie theater popcorn.
Okay.
And he's like, you know that thing you're supposed to do where you put your dick in the popcorn and a girl's supposed to touch it or whatever? He's like, do that to your guy friends. It's so funny. And like it's
sure. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not telling the joke well.
Yeah.
But I'm like, maybe change that from the thing that you're supposed to do to that thing people said to do in middle school. Don't do that. That's predatory.
Yep. Yeah.
Do it to your guy friends.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a much better reframe.
Yeah.
We like that
I'm
a
like,
lot.
I know where your head is at.
Yep.
But like we need to take some steps.
Yep. The guy that I hung out with during the pandemic went to college and did like screenwriting, and like it was like his dream to like write screenplays or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're like almost 20 years past this now, but he was like, we were going on a walk on a date walk one morning, I guess. And he was like telling me about this script that he has that he wrote that he's like really passionate about. And again, I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, this script is like 15 years old. Like, what are we talking about right now?
Yeah.
And we ended up like going out to dinner one night, and we're sitting there and we're eating ramen. And for 10 minutes, he just starts describing this scene. It's supposed to be like a movie where a woman is like what are those called? Like a spy or something,
Sure.
you know, like an action movie, whatever. And he was like, but I just don't feel like the movies really go far enough, you know? And I was like, okay. And he was like, I wrote this torture scene and it's like really intense. And he basically explained that it's like a woman strapped to a chair and then somebody like pours, I don't know, gasoline or something on her.
Jesus
and he
Christ.
lights her pussy on fire.
Are you fucking kidding?
And he's explaining this like so passionately, and it's like the most absurd and stupid thing I've ever heard. And I'm eating my ramen, and I like haven't spoken for like 10 minutes, and he gets done explaining the scene, and he just looks up at me. He looks down at his ramen, looks up at me, and he just shakes his head, and he's like, really powerful stuff. Really powerful stuff. I go, for sure. How
No, go
is
to jail.
your ramen?
Go to jail. Like, I'm not actually, but like, there's so much like female suffering in the world. If that's it's read the news. If
I was
that's
like,
what really interests you.
It couldn't have been a dick you lit on fire. Like, are they
Why
just not
not?
going far enough with men?
Yeah.
And, like, I was just like, this is crazy.
Literally, if that had been reversed and you were like, I feel like just like movies don't go we don't like torture men enough.
Yeah.
Like, that's a psychotic thing to say.
It's crazy.
Even without any gender. They just don't torture people enough in movies. They don't go far enough.
No. What's that one movie? It's like an army movie that's supposed to be like one of the most realistic like scenarios of like soldiers going in or like I don't know, whatever. But like it's this very intense movie, and Emily Blunt's in it. Okay. And I don't know. It's dark, but basically like I go over to his house to like watch movies, and I just want to watch these like lighthearted, like it's the pandemic.
Yeah.
Trump is president. Like, you know, like there's just a lot going on.
People are dying.
We can't leave our houses. Like,
Yeah.
he's the only person I'm now like in circle with, basically. Yeah. And he just put on movies like that and then fall asleep. Like, we'd argue about what to watch. He would win, and then he'd fall asleep, and I'd have to sit there and watch these movies, and I'd just be like, what the fuck?
No.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. He also put me in the bath once.
What?
I went over for dinner, and like he was like, what do you want to do tonight? Do you want to watch a movie? Do you want to, I don't know, do you want to take a bath? Like, and we weren't like super romantic with each other because he wasn't very good at that. And so I was like, a bath? Like, we've never taken a bath together. Like, okay, that could be fun. Like, that could be romantic. I was like, a bath sounds cool. And he like gets a bath ready, leaves all the bathroom lights on, like brings me into the bathroom, is like, okay, robes are in there. Here you go. Like, gets me in the tub. I don't have my phone. I don't even have like a glass of wine. And he goes, okay, enjoy. And like walks out, leaves the lights on, walks through his bedroom, walks into the living room, and starts playing Call of Duty. And I can just hear him shouting at children and guns going off. And I was just like, what in the actual fuck
He's
is
like,
happening?
I am crushing romance right now.
He was like, I'm going to get laid tonight.
Yeah.
Like, no.
You know how you actually do a bath, you guys? This is what we do. There's this little projector thing that does like, it looks like an aurora borealis on the ceiling. Bring that into your bathroom.
Okay.
Then you put on like a tiny little like end table. You bring it in. You put your computer on. You watch Powerpuff Girls, or you watch Dexter's Lab, or something like that. Something that is a half hour, quick, good time. Yeah. You sit in the tub. If you've got boobs, sit in the back.
That's important.
For some reason, it's not comfortable to lay on a chest, but it's more comfortable to lay on the back of the tub. There's like bath bombs are great. Bubbles are great. Yeah. Maybe a candle, but
I did I did a bath the other day here alone. I smoked some weed. I put some stuff in. I turned the lights down low, and I put on Arrested Development. I was like, this is my jam. Yeah. This is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. One time Ben and I took a tub, and he put on 3 Body Problem. Oh, which is he hadn't seen it yet.
Oh,
and so we're watching it, and I was like, "Get me out of here!"
No, that's not like chill bath time.
No, I was like,
watching.
I'm really uncomfortable. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know what's gonna happen next. I'm naked.
Yeah,
like
it's very vulnerable.
This sucks.
Yeah.
yeah. There's blood. Don't put on anything that's intense while you're in the tub. No shooting. No Call of Duty sounds.
No.
Just chill, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we wrap up,
Okay.
how are orgasms with your current boyfriend?
Orgasms with my current boyfriend are decent.
Okay.
I would say he is very committed to me having them.
He talked about that on stage. That's the only reason why I asked.
He's very committed to it. He's down for me to use.
He's like, get in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's like one of his favorite things. He really loves talking. It's a very funny joke. I
Yeah.
like it. But yeah, he talks about getting in there and boys, don't we make them come?
Yeah.
So easy.
Yes.
No, he's honestly like a really great partner, and he's always like, "Do you want your vibrator?" He wants me to get my toys
Yeah.
out. He wants me to come. He's like very, he's me focused for sure, but I'm also
Amazing.
like, and he likes the gamut. He's exploratory. Like he's great. So,
And you're him focused too.
and I'm him focused as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say he's finishing 100% of the time. So I'm doing a great job. Although, actually, that's
Don't
why-
we do it to him, girls?
Don't we just get in
Don't we
there?
just get in there
and
and
just-
get it done?
So easy.
It is so easy.
I did start trying to give him a hand job during Beetlejuice once.
Amazing.
And he finally just goes, "I'm sorry, you have to stop." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I can't look at these shrinking heads and like death people while you're just trying to like get me off right now, Megan."
You know why? It's because he's all head. His head is the same size as their.
That's it. It's because
Yeah.
it's so tiny.
Yeah. Okay, and then one more thing. We basically said for dating, be yourselves, be comfortable, ask people out.
Yeah.
Do you have any go-to pickup lines,
Oh.
whether in person or via text?
I don't know if I have like a line per se. I think it's just kind of like directness.
Okay.
I think like I'm into you, or like, hey, word on the street is like you're pretty hot, or like
Cool.
you're pretty fun, and or I don't know, like
We should get a drink.
we should get a drink. Anything. I feel like when I do hit on men, it's usually like there's a joke or it's something. It's with humor. And that usually seems to do well as long as like direct and like it's not. If you're leaving room for ambiguity, then like you're gonna get ambiguity
Totally.
back. So I think it's be direct and be fun. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
That's-
It's easy
yeah.
to read into stuff when there's like only subtext. Usually there's nothing to read into.
Yeah.
You have to just like say the thing and then get the response.
Yeah.
You made a joke that you're like a non-practicing bisexual, which means you only fuck men, but you know better.
Yeah.
And I think it was like a tweet or something of this girl being like, "Hey, like, does anybody know how to get past this phase on a dating app?" And it was two girls just being like, "You're so pretty. Oh my God, you're so pretty." And like I've had that interaction when I was on dating apps with girls. But somebody was just like, just follow that up with, "Can I buy you a drink sometime this
Yep.
week?"
Truly.
Like say the thing.
yeah.
Which is like, they could either say sure, or they could be like, they could then ask you more questions about yourself and just like open up the conversation more if they like want to talk more.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like what? Just say the thing.
Yeah. I think I did go out on a date with a girl and we met on an app, and it was kind of the same. It was like, oh, hey, like compliment. And then it was like, we should do something. And it was like, yeah, let's do it. And then we had like a really nice date. And then for like the following week, she was sending me just an incessant amount of photos of like her day. And I was like, nobody asked for these.
Yeah.
By the end of it, I was like, I know exactly where she is and who she's with and what she's doing. And no.
And that's the person that she is.
100%.
And she showed you and you said, no, I'm not.
And I was like,
I'm
I'm
super into dating that type of person.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there was one girl that I was talking to for a while that I was like, yeah, we should. And then like I just kind of like lost interest, and she got like really mad about it. And I was like, no, I'm just like not down anymore.
Yeah.
And that's okay too.
Yeah.
Like we've literally talked about so many dates and relationships respectively that we've had that are like, some of them were really fun in the moment. And like, why aren't we with them? Because we're not.
100%.
Because it's not meant to be. And sometimes like things are just like little experiences. Not that people are experiences, but like everyone's just doing this.
I went on a date one time with a guy and I think we did one of those like, here are like the 50 questions or 20 questions to ask to like fall in love or like whatever. And we did that like first date. This was like way back in New York, like early days. And we had so much fun and it felt so connected. And I think we like both walked away from that date like, holy shit. And the next date was one of the worst dates I've ever been on. We like went to a magic show. We had nothing to talk about. Like it was just, and I was like, oh, okay. You were like, our time together was like that date.
Yes.
That was our moment.
Yeah.
And I'll cherish it, but like adios.
Totally. And that's okay.
And that's okay too.
It's
100%.
like having a fucking fun meal. So I really liked that one night. And then you go back and you have it again and you're like, huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I didn't have fun the first time. Had a great night.
Yeah. It's just time to do that with someone else now.
All right, Megan.
This has been so fun.
I love chatting with you.
Thanks
and I
for
love
having
being
me.
around your whole family. And hopefully the little kitten will come out soon.
I'll try and seduce him out.
Yeah. Where can everybody find you online if they want to watch your vids, stay in touch with your comedy, etc.?
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is Mottobot, MOTTOBOT. I usually post my stand-up schedules there too. I've got a bunch of shows coming up. And on TikTok, it's Megan_Otto.
Yay.
Yay.
And yeah, we didn't talk about Beast Games, but Megan was in the first episode of Beast Games and she cried.
And I did cry. I'm like such a pretty crier though, right?
She's such a pretty crier.
Thank you.
This has been so much fun.
Yeah.
I just have to ask you one more question before we go. I have to ask everybody after sexual experience.
Okay.
Megan Otto, did you finish?
I did.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. You guys, I finished too. If you have any questions for me, you want to follow the podcast, How Come Podcast on all the platforms, spelled the way you think. Follow me at Remy Casimir. And if you want to listen to this episode unedited, patreon.com/howcome. We love you very much. And we'll see you next time on How Come. Goodbye.
Bye.
It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I think that I've still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna just...
Hello, Marvel section. I am curious what you guys think about the relationships in the workplace conversation. Because I feel like the quote unquote right answer is like, don't do that. Power structures at all. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I feel like it happens. And like sometimes people like meet their forever people at work. But then like also sometimes assault. It feels murky. I felt judgmental of Megan in the moment. But then I remembered younger. And I was like, maybe that's why I'm so angry right now. Besides, like, you know, all the other shit. So what do you guys think? Have you ever had a workplace romance? Did it turn out well? If you've had multiple, did it more often turn out well? Did it make work more exciting? Sometimes a crush makes work more exciting. But then sometimes if things go bad, you don't want to go back to work and then it ruins your life. I don't know. DM me. How Come Podcast or Remy Casimir. Tell me your stories. I would love to hear them. Wasn't this episode fun? I thought so. I wish you guys could have seen the pets. Megan has 2 cats and the one-eyed dog, and it was fantastic. Great recording.